Hi all, thank you for being here. I'm going to show you how to set up the ESP32 debugger on macOS with VSCode. I searched online for a while, but majority of those videos are for Windows system. I figured Mac needs some love, so here we are. For my video, I'm using the ESP32 Room 32D. You can find those pretty easily on Amazon or any shopping platforms. I believe that is the one that I have. I bought it a while ago. And I'll post the link in the description later. I think the default flash size for this is 4 megabyte. It is important, but not really important. It depends on if you're going to store some files later. But I will post some videos about how to host a website on ESP32, but I'll be using a micro SD card instead. And then we will need the debugger. I bought it a few days ago, and it was $12, and I just checked the price. It's still $12. And it will come some wires, but I'm not using those currently. These are the wires I still have leftover while I was in college, and they work pretty well. And then let me show you all the diagram. Isn't it just really nice? Like you can just switch. And then for my setup, I connect the pin 1 to 3.3 volts right here. And then pin 2, the reason why I like this diagram is because the name is really aligned. For pin 2, we'll connect to GPIO 14, and pin 3 will connect to ground. And then pin 4 will connect pin 4 to GPIO 13. And then pin 6 will connect to GPIO 15, and pin 8 will connect to GPIO 12. And I will post this document link in the description as well. And we will talk about the software setup now. All right, let's continue to the software setup. On the bottom left of my Visual Studio Code, there's a device selection. And if you see two extra ports when you plug your ESP Prog in, then you should be good to go and continue. Otherwise, you will also need to install the FT2x HL chip driver. It is pretty straightforward. So when I plug my ESP Prog in, I see two extra ports that showed up, so I know that it's working properly. Here is the instruction. I'll leave the link in the description as well. And just go here, and we will find the correct driver. I believe this is the driver that I used, and you do need to put the installer under the application folder, and when you run it, it will tell you what to do, and it shouldn't be that hard. And now we will set up the OpenOCD. In order to set up the OpenOCD for macOS, the first thing we need to do is to download a package and install it. I have Homebrew set up on my machine, so all I have to do was just use brew and install libusb to install the package. Let me show you. So just type instead of search and just use install libusb. So I came prepared. And after that, we will go to this website and find the correct one to extract the zip file. And I use this one since I'm on Intel chip still. After you download that, we'll just use this command. We'll go to the ESP folder first. I'm not going to override it since I have it installed already. But here's what you can do. So yeah, just CD and go to the folder. And how to find the correct version then, which one that you downloaded. Here's what you can do. We'll just go to LS and go to download and grab the open. It will just find the correct, find the match of the file name, and then just copy this and replace this right here. Then after that, we will set up things in Visual Studio Code to make our life easier. And first things first, I have this set up as global, so I don't have to set up for each project. What you can do is first, you just go to settings and preference, open user settings. And I will probably copy this and paste in the description as well, so it's easier for you all. Type, just use cppdbg, and you probably have some questions about this. I'll explain it. Request is launch. Name, you can name anything that you want. I just use ESP32 Debug. Program, here's the workspace under build, and then workspaceFolderBasename, which is, we don't have to hard code it. It would just be the project name, and we would need the ELF. Then here, cwd just build, which is this folder directory. DebuggerPath. You're probably curious, like, where exactly can I find that easier? And here is something that you can do. Let's open a terminal. And then we'll just type which, oh yeah, see, it's pretty nice. Just finish that. It says not found. Okay, well, that's a little bit annoying. But remember, when you set up the ESP IDF, there's a command they recommend you to set up, which is get_IDF. So let's do that first. Let it finish. Okay, that's good. Then now let's type which the ELF GDB again. Then here give you the path. So all we need to do is copy that and replace it here. Very straightforward, right? And then here's the setup commands. Target remote 127.0.0.01 and the port value. You're probably curious, like, why do we select 3333? There's also 4444 and 6666 and 46. And here's some command that you can find. Here's the command that you can use to find, okay, which one is exactly the port is being used. We will need another terminal. I just close my. Then all we have to do is sudo. Oh yeah. So you just type that. Then you will need to input your password. Here are the some ports that are currently listening, and I'll explain why it's 3333. And there's a documentation for that. I believe so. Well, I read it somewhere. I think this is the GDB port, and 66666 is the, I believe it was a TCP or something. And then the set remote hardware-watchpoint-limit 2, because ESP32 only supports 2 as the hardware watch point. And then we'll set up the monitor reset halt and flush registers. Here's the documentation I found, and I'll leave that link in the description. If you click that, it will give you another page, and there are more options, and you can read about it. I also found why the port value is 3333 and TCL is 446 and telnet is 44. And I found that from Stack Overflow a while back, and I just found it. So we need to give credit to this person. So thank you. Now after that, I believe we can start the debugger session. If you want to make it easier, we can just go here. Mine is function F1, and then OpenOCD manager. So let's just start it first. Oh, let's stop that first. It was stuck back there. I'll start it, start a session first. Port already in use. Let me know. Okay, yeah, that's why. I'll show you about this later. Let's start the manager first. Should be starting. Okay, no errors. Then I'll put breakpoint here. Then let's run this. Okay, so stop at the breakpoint. That's good. Then we can just step through things. Very nice. For some reason, if you have some errors, normally I can think of fix would be just type get IDF in this session. Normally that'll fix it. If that's the problem that I encounter, I'll try that first. I have never encountered any issues yet, so I just said that just in case that might be a fix. And there's also another way to start the OpenOCD manager. And there's also a documentation for that. Let me see, I probably have that open already. Yep, so it's right here. We have to cd to here, and which that's the one that you unpacked to the folder, and then you run it. There's a, so I created an alias for that. Let me show you. We will have to open a terminal. Let me drag it over here. So let's do vim, and mine is .z profile. I just put stuff in there. And here is the alias that I made is ESP_debug, and you just cd to that and just paste everything back in there. And then if you want to run it this way, well, of course we'll have to stop the session from here. And then, okay, I have this open already. Then let's just do ESP_debug, which, okay, no errors, that's good. And then I'll just redo it. Start the debug session. Ta-da! Okay, so we stop here. That's good. The reason why I like to use it that way is because sometimes you finished, you unplug your chip and debugger. Here it will constantly pop stuff up. It will say something is errored out, and it's annoying. So if you use a terminal way, it's not going to constantly pop something up and bothering you. You can just use Control and C. Life is just clean, it's quiet, which is really nice. Another thing I want to say is, okay, so which one do I choose now? According to the documentation, you just choose the one that you normally flash it in. So you have to find the correct one. It's just the one that I connect to the ESP32 as well, and I just flash it the normal way, like you normally would. Like I said, I'll post a picture about my setup. And I believe that's all I want to cover, and hopefully it's helpful. I'll post everything that's useful in the link, those links in the description. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And if I said anything that is incorrect, please correct me. And I believe that's all. I will also post more series about how to make a website and host it on the ESP32 as well. So hopefully I will see you next time, and have a good night.